If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. Chris Olave has quickly cemented his place as one of the most vital pieces in the New Orleans Saints plans moving forward, and that's saying a lot considering the overhaul the franchise is undergoing under a new coaching regime. When a new staff steps in, one of the first things they do is evaluate their roster top to bottom, figuring out who fits, who doesn't, and who might be expendable. In Olave's case, there wasn't much of a debate. He's not just a part of the team's future, he's a focal point. That kind of endorsement so early in a new coaching cycle doesn't happen by accident. It speaks volumes about his professionalism, work ethic, and sheer talent. Earning the trust of a fresh staff this quickly is no small feat, and it's clear Olave did more than just show up. He showed out. This kind of early season buy-in is what sets the stage for stardom. That's exactly why the Saints have been quick to shut down any and all trade inquiries about Olave, no matter how persistent or enticing they may have sounded. According to NFL insider Albert Breer, the Saints were contacted by multiple teams looking to pry Olave loose, including the Cleveland Browns, who have been actively exploring upgrades at their wide receiver position. But New Orleans wouldn't even entertain the thought. Breer made it clear, Olave is not on the trade block, and the Saints are treating him like an untouchable asset. This is a player they're building around, not shopping. That alone tells you how high his stock is within the organization, and how seriously they're investing in his development and future impact on the field. What makes this even more compelling is the timing. The NFL offseason is the prime time for roster moves, especially for teams looking to take that next leap. For the Saints, saying no to teams like the Browns and Steelers, two organizations that are always hunting for difference makers, wasn't just about protecting a good player. It was a statement. They believe Olave is on the verge of becoming great. When Breer mentioned that Olave had a really nice offseason, it wasn't just fluff. That means he's been showing in workouts, impressing in meetings, and doing all the things behind the scenes that turn talent into production. That's the kind of trajectory that keeps teams from answering trade calls, no matter what's offered. Of course, Olave's 2024 campaign wasn't without setbacks. He dealt with multiple concussions that disrupted his rhythm and left the Saints walking a fine line between urgency and caution. With concussions, especially multiple ones in a short span, teams don't take chances. The Saints pulled back when they needed to, prioritized his long-term health, and made it clear they were thinking beyond just one season. That kind of careful handling is another indication of just how much they value him. They weren't just protecting an asset, they were safeguarding a core part of their identity. That says as much about the organization's faith in Olave as it does about their awareness of how dangerous repeated head injuries can be. Looking ahead, Olave's contract situation adds an extra layer of intrigue to the conversation. He's entering the final year of his rookie deal, a 4-year contract worth just over $19 million. The Saints do have a 5th-year option available for 2026, which would pay him nearly $15.5 million, a number that's likely to feel like a bargain if he continues trending upward. The question now isn't just how well he'll perform in 2025, but whether the Saints will aim to lock him up long-term before he ever hits the open market. With the wide receiver market exploding in value recently, that might be the smartest move they can make. Letting him walk, or worse, trade him, would be a step backward they can't afford. Meanwhile, over in Cleveland, the Browns' interest in Olave wasn't some shot in the dark. They had a real need, a real plan, and they took a real swing. But after being rebuffed, they pivoted and doubled down on their existing depth. They chose not to draft a wide receiver this year, putting their confidence in players already in the room. Most notably, Cedric Tillman, the second-year wideout, had a promising start to his rookie campaign before a concussion cut it short. There's hope in Cleveland that he can take that next step, but hope isn't the same as proven production. That's why the Browns' initial push for Olave makes so much sense. He was the perfect mix of youth, upside, and instant impact. The Browns' wide receiver room now feels like a calculated risk. There's undeniable talent, Jerry Jeudy brings explosiveness, Deontay Johnson offers steady hands and veteran savvy, and rookie Jamari Thrash arrives with plenty of potential. DeAndre Carter adds value on special teams, which matters more than most fans realize. But for a team with postseason aspirations, the margin for error is razor thin. If one or two of those pieces fail to click, or if injuries pile up again, suddenly that receiver group starts looking dangerously thin. That's why interest in Olave made so much sense. He would have brought stability and star power to a group still figuring out its identity. New Orleans, for their part, seems committed to getting the most out of Olave while they still have him on a team-friendly deal. That's the sweet spot for NFL front offices. Elite production at rookie prices. The Saints know they have a narrow window here, especially if they want to rebuild while still competing. That's the balancing act they're trying to pull off, and Olave is a huge part of it. If he explodes statistically this year, that fifth-year option becomes a no-brainer. But more importantly, he becomes a foundational piece in what could be a very different Saints team in 2 years. That's the gamble they're taking, and so far it looks like a smart one. Still, it's fair to wonder if there's a number that could make New Orleans flinch. Bria hinted at that possibility, saying maybe someone blows them away with an offer. That's how the NFL works. Everyone has a price. But if we're reading the tea leaves correctly, it would take something massive. Multiple first-round picks? A star player in return? Even then, the Saints might hesitate. They've already turned away 2 well-run franchises. That tells you how high the bar is set. They don't just see Olave as a weapon. They see him as the kind of player you build around, not replace. And that mindset usually leads to long-term extensions, not trade headlines. For now, the story is simple. Chris Olave is staying in New Orleans. The Browns can keep looking, the Steelers can move on, and any other curious teams can consider this chapter closed. The Saints are betting big on their young receiver, not just for what he brings on Sundays, but for what he represents to a franchise. Looking for a new identity. That kind of commitment isn't given lightly. It's earned, and Olave's earned every bit of it. The NFL may be a business, but every once in a while, loyalty and vision align. This seems to be one of those moments. And if Olave delivers the way everyone inside the building believes he will, that trust will look like genius. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Ladies and gentlemen, grab your seats because the NFL world has been rocked by one of the biggest potential moves of the offseason. Rumors are swirling that Davante Adams, the superstar wide receiver, has decided to part ways with the Las Vegas Raiders and is reportedly heading to the Cleveland Browns. Yes, you heard that right. The whispers around the league are getting louder, and while nothing has been officially confirmed by either team, insiders claim that Adams has already put pen to paper, signaling the start of a new chapter in his storied career. Fans across the league are losing their minds over this possible shift, and the internet is absolutely ablaze with speculation about what this could mean for both franchises moving forward. Now, let's be clear. Davante Adams leaving the Raiders would mark a monumental shift for both him and the team. After all, Adams had been seen as the centerpiece of the Raiders' offensive game plan, a player that could single-handedly change the outcome of a game. Since arriving in Las Vegas, he has been nothing short of spectacular, breaking records, scoring touchdowns, and electrifying the crowd with his jaw-dropping catches. So why would he want out now? Some insiders believe that frustration over the Raiders' inability to become a true playoff contender, combined with internal locker room dynamics, may have pushed Adams to seek a fresh start elsewhere. And apparently, that elsewhere is Cleveland. Imagine this for a second. Davante Adams lining up in a Browns uniform, catching passes from Deshaun Watson, and turning the Cleveland offense into an absolute nightmare for opposing defenses. The potential here is insane. According to sources close to the situation, Adams is reportedly excited about the opportunity to work with Watson and believes that the Browns' current roster gives him the best shot at making a deep playoff run. Something he's been craving since his days in Green Bay. While some skeptics wonder if the Browns can truly capitalize on such a massive acquisition, others are already predicting that this move could instantly catapult Cleveland into Super Bowl contention. Of course, the reaction from Raiders fans has been nothing short of emotional. Many took to social media, expressing disbelief and frustration at the thought of losing their star receiver. For years, Adams has been the shining beacon of hope for the Raiders faithful, and now the possibility of seeing him in a different uniform feels like a betrayal to some. However, others are taking a more pragmatic view, acknowledging that the team has struggled to build a consistent winning culture and understanding Adams' desire to chase a championship before the twilight of his career. Either way, this rumored move is sending shockwaves through Raider Nation and beyond. On the flip side, Browns fans are already dreaming about the highlight reels that could come from adding Adams to their offense. Cleveland's receiving core has been solid, but many analysts agree that they've lacked that elite game-changing wideout capable of stretching defenses and opening up the field. If these rumors are true, Adams could be exactly what the Browns need to finally get over the hump in the fiercely competitive AFC North. Think about the matchups. Adams against cornerbacks from Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cincinnati. It's enough to make any Browns fan giddy with anticipation. The excitement in Cleveland right now is palpable, even if the deal hasn't been officially announced. Another layer to this rumor involves the financial implications of such a blockbuster move. Davante Adams doesn't come cheap, and the Browns would have to make some serious adjustments to their cap situation to accommodate his massive contract. Reports suggest that Cleveland's front office has been working behind the scenes for weeks, restructuring deals and clearing space in anticipation of a major acquisition like this. If true, it shows just how serious they are about making a run at the title and how much they value Adams' impact on the field. The sheer magnitude of these behind-the-scenes maneuvers is enough to make any football fan appreciate just how complex these deals can be. But let's not forget, with any rumor of this magnitude, there are always skeptics and doubters. Some league insiders are questioning whether this is all just smoke and mirrors, a clever ploy by agents and front offices to drive up Adams' market value or to pressure the Raiders into making additional moves. After all, we've seen plenty of situations where star players were rumored to be on the move, only to stay put and sign lucrative extensions. Could this be one of those situations? Is Davante Adams really leaving the Raiders? Or is this all just a brilliant game of NFL chess being played out in the media? Meanwhile, the potential ripple effects of Adams joining the Browns are hard to ignore. His presence could completely change how opposing defenses scheme against Cleveland, opening up opportunities not just for himself, but also for other offensive weapons like Amari Cooper, David Njoku, and Nick Chubb. Defensive coordinators across the league would be forced to adjust their game plans, and suddenly the Browns could find themselves with one of the most dynamic and versatile offenses in the NFL. It's a scenario that would have seemed unimaginable just a few seasons ago. But here we are talking about the possibility of Cleveland becoming an offensive juggernaut. And what about the Raiders? If Adams truly is on his way out, the team will face some serious questions about their future direction. Losing a player of his caliber is never easy, and it could signal the start of a larger rebuild for Las Vegas. Will they look to the draft to find their next superstar receiver, or will they make a play for another big-name free agent to fill the void left by Adams? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the Raiders front office is under immense pressure to respond and reassure their fan base that the team remains committed to competing at the highest level. So there you have it, folks. The latest, juiciest rumor heating up the NFL landscape. Davante Adams possibly leaving the Raiders and making his way to the Cleveland Browns is the kind of story that could define an entire season, if not the next few years. Whether it's fact or fiction, one thing is certain. The NFL offseason drama never disappoints. Keep your eyes peeled and your notifications on, because if and when this move becomes official, it will send shockwaves through the entire league. Until then, all we can do is sit back, speculate, and enjoy the ride as this incredible rumor continues to unfold. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!